This information is in part channeled, in part oral transmission from the ancients and acute and intuitive observation skills. So be open to yourselves and yourself to see what resonates with you. This is about Ormus, or better known as Ormi, orbitally rearranged monoatomic elements. So what is Ormus? First off, it's not a liquid, not a gas, not a solid, nor a plasma. It's a fifth state of matter. It is literally fifth dimensional. It is an electric, etheric superconductor, partially because it is in and out of dimensions, sometimes measurable, sometimes not. The important factor with Ormus is that there are interdimensional elements present within Ormus that appear upon what the surrounding environment or organism needs. So the effects can be measured, but Ormus itself is very tough to see what's actually in it other than mineral salt or mineral salts with different elements. Ormus is a facilitator to bring the source spirit into the human vessel. Ormus responds to the magnetic field of the body. It also produces the same field the human body has around it, and it's called chi. What I channeled is its liquid light, pure prana. It's kind of what chi or body energy or vortex or vorticular energy represents. Ormus is in your brain, Ormus is in the heart, Ormus is in your organs, Ormus is in the entire body. It's kind of plasmic, shimmering, oscillating blue energy, if you have the sight, around the body. In Star Wars, they would talk about the Force. Most humans, as in how food is being processed, how the fields have been depleted and made inefficient, we are running on deficiency. We are not running exactly on efficiency. Look at the market and the millions of supplements that it has at hand, but no miracle supplement has been found. So we're scattered all over the place, segregated and separated, trying to find a way back to our original angelic avatar selves. So the products we consume today carry not the correct, or put it in other words, the complete source code, light information. We are more survival-based than actually thriving and living and expanding and exploring based. Ormus behaves like the wind. You can't really measure the weight of the wind, but you can observe its effects on the leaves, so you know it exists. One must also know that one is looking for. Ormus is chemically neutral like an inert gas, when it is in actuality not that. It's changing. It's forever changing. It changes the pH levels. It changes gravity. At some point, magnetic behavior is changing. It's not constant. We call that a flux zone, meaning it is in conscious communication with the source, thus relating with the communication with you. Mission is to relink the body back to the source energy and get your router back to the original interdimensional divine source code internet that is actually designed for you by you. So it is in a constant state of flux, as I stated. It facilitates a state of superconductivity when it's not a superconductor. It's a paradox. We also measured the effects of the DNA, and the DNA begins to fire up, begins to work, begins to go into repair mode. It literally fires up and it enlightens the DNA. The orbitally rearranged elements are in two stages of spin. One electron goes clockwork, the other electron spins counterclockwise. These opposite spins create a field, what scientist Dr. Meissner calls the Meissner field. Once this field is established around the telomeres of your brain, or you can say the antenna nerve endings of your DNA, that means you have an impenetrable force field that is not subject to nuclear radiation, EMF disturbance, or any other disturbance or projection coming from this planet. That's when you activate actually your rainbow body. Once this field is stabilized, nothing can interfere, and when this is established, the original repair code can commence and the body can really repair itself without projections, assumptions, or false belief systems that continuously, through the synaptic wave patterns of your left hemisphere, interfere. Thus, we are in a state of deficiency. The monoatomic literally means that the atoms do not bond. They are bonding when the conscious level is appropriate to whatever that needs to be established. Like a Lego block that doesn't exist, but once a Lego block is needed, it forms itself. So, know that clouds that you see in the sky are Ormus. These are the balancers of weather patterns. Ormus does not respond chemically to anything, but it responds to the body and to a negative EMF. It is repelled by it. So keep Ormus, or the white powder gold, away from EMF to keep it at its maximum potency. If you want to go deeper, Ormus is undifferentiated matter that acts as a flux flow portal to source field, which is what we call the golden means, fractal light, or call it God light, meaning the correct information from receiver to sender. Every life form contains Ormus. Conventional equipment cannot measure Ormic elements. Know that our ways of energy intake must change. The soil in the land is depleted. Replenishing it with minerals does not really make food nutritious. It is about the energetics and the naturally occurring Ormic levels and light levels in the soil. It is about the correct light information connecting back to source. This is science, not magic. Back then, for the untrained, it appeared such way. But this is the time where science and magic must meet. And I say it again, must. There's no other way. Ormus is a higher dimensional communications medium. Installing it or ingesting Ormus enables the body to go into resonance with the original design protocol of intracellular communication. In other words, get well and vital, according to source, DNA reset, cosmic avatar angelic default settings being activated. Also known to the ancients, they took this as a means of eating and survived that way before hunting and the lower dimensional aspect of eating was introduced. Meaning this is a transformational tool. This is evolution. After taking enough of this substance, you will get more psychic, telepathic, psychokinesis, telekinesis. Your third eye will open more. You will realize the new you. You will understand more of the download aspects that are given to you. You will grasp more scientific things that you did not know before. This is your future. Now, if we enhance this material, which is, to our knowledge, not widely spread or done in the Ormus community, in a protective environment, and introduce it to a higher light spectrum, everything changes in Ormus. And Ormus is attracted to light and undisturbed information. So if you want to produce massive amounts of Ormus, be at a nodal point or a grid point, such as in Peru, Machu Picchu, Mount Shasta, Sedona, Hawaii, Bermuda, and many, many places more, Stonehenge, you will get more because more energy is in the flux and more communication with source is there. It is sensitive to the being that establishes the communication, thus producing it. Mission for you is to minimize food intake, become more effective and efficient, less waste for your cells, getting well on all levels, stabilizing you and your cells, bringing your angelic cells back. So we have produced a profound product that you can feel. And we say experience is everything. We call it Activator. You can find it in my Etsy store on my site. When you go to www.ra-key.com, click on my shop and look under Activator. Thank you for your time. Namaste. Greetings and salutations, star travelers, interstellar commanders, ship commanders, Starfleet control, patrol officers, Earth control, grid crew, normalizing the situation here on this planetary Orte. Many people have asked me about Ra. What are you thinking about Ormus? Well, I think a whole lot of things about Ormus. And taken Ormus myself for over 2 years now, leading into my own production of that Ormus, which I call it Firmus or Formus, which is photonically enhanced Ormus. But first, I want to break down to those who are interested in the topic what Ormus actually is. So let's go to the 4 basic states of matter: solid, liquid, gas, and the 4th state of matter is what? Plasma. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is what's known. So as in, you would say, 5th dimensional physics, we have something beyond the 4 states of matter. That is a 5th state. That means this material is neither or. So if you would put that substance into a machine and try to measure it, you would have to invent a machine that can measure 5th state of matter. So what does Ormus actually correct? ORME stands for ORME. And I will have something for the Ormus community as well for that. So stick with me, bear with me. This means orbitally rearranged monoatomic elements. Okay? Simple. Let's say you have an atom. You have an electron that has a certain spin. Okay, when you orbitally rearrange monoatomic elements, what are we doing? Through a treatment that is known by the ancients, we are rearranging the orbit of the electron. But here comes the interesting part. Not only are we rearranging that, we are also changing the spin of it. And how can I put it? Let me explain how this works. Now, hopefully visual to a certain degree. You have to see the camera even captures that. If not, I'll have to move the board. Visible. So Ormus is a 5th state of matter. So the strange pattern of behavior that Ormus has, I'll explain that first in detail, and then I explain to you how it's made. Anybody can do that at home. Okay. Ormus, so they call it, okay? It has actually 2 electrons after it's created. One spins this way, one spins the other way. So you also have something what this field creates, an implosion. For that you want to study Dan Winters, of what that actually means to have explosive fields and implosive fields. What you actually want is it's somewhat what it would look like. And these are the zero fields. So what these zero fields do in the minerals actually, they reconnect back to source code. Source code, or as David Wilcock calls it, the source field, or scalar waves, which are the bridge to that, has to do with, and this is my theory and my feeling and accumulation of certain things that I've found online that scientifically have shown that, and before one thing leads to another. What we have learned with fifth state matter is that gravity changes in Ormus. It's not constant. The pH level is not constant. It fluctuates. There are minerals in that substance that are there and they are not there. How millions of dollars were spent by people like somebody named Mr. Hudson, if you find that online, he showed something at a seminar in 2011 which was publicized, that they cooked the Ormus in order to find even monoatomic elements. Elements such as rhodium, or iridium, and many, many more. So back in the ancient days, let's break that down. Ormus was the mana. And if you check Bible and other holy scriptures, and even in Arabic tales, you always hear the storyline that, the humans ate regular food and the gods ate mana. They needed little of that substance and they never ate. So let's assume, let's see if we can move that here more and make it more visible. So let's assume that let's assume that mana is a substance which is supposedly equivalent to the ocean in the body. What does that mean? Let me see if I can change the light so we have less interference, more sight. I have to adjust that a little bit. Pardon me, this is all live. More to me. I'm not so important. Let's see. Oh, we're much clearer. So, the ocean in the body is your blood. Okay? And I'll sum it up for you to get it quicker. Let's say you were a super being in the ancient times and the blood gave you the ability to have navigational power over time and space. Doesn't matter where you would go, how you would travel, reappear, disappear, reinsert, and all that stuff. And the blood lost the navigational power and your the navigational system broke down because your blood is not firing up anymore, meaning you're not having a certain speed or the implosive effects in your bloodstream to have that turn on into your avatar body. So we're a little bit crippled. In simple terms, our blood doesn't have the tools, nor does our brain have the tools to fix the body efficiently, so we scar, we age, we get cancer, we get all types of stuff because we're running on deficit. And it doesn't matter if you eat meat or you're vegetarian, the food that's being produced and the soil that's been depleted over the years for reasons of over-industrialization, not fertilizing it with harmonious fertilizer and keeping the photonic level of the soil in a certain construct, plus water forced out of the ground, natural wells not being found, we are digging, putting needles into the earth and milking the cow. That leads to the potassium level, the daily potassium level that we need would be an equivalent of 8 times a banana that you would have to eat during a day to cover the potassium level you need. That's how deficient our food is. Like, let's imagine if you would eat a strawberry that came out of Lemuria, you would probably trip like it's psychedelic because it's that nutrient, it's that monoatomic. Also, we found out that Ormus is in the brain. Ormus is in all forms of life. You study that deep enough and you listen to radio interviews, find that yourself, do your own investigation, see what resonates with you. I'm not trying to be dogmatic, but there's stuff out there where you see there's higher growth rates, people healing, people getting better, people having had cancer on their hands and dropping their own Ormus mixture on their hand until this thing falls off and the body can produce natural and regulated cell structures. And I'm not making any claims, you have to do your own observation. I go by experimentation for your own entertainment and your own enjoyment. This will probably never be FDA approved. Who knows what? You will have to basically now help the heal yourself. So what does Ormus do in terms of well-being? So Ormus basically gives the body back what EMF takes from you. We also found out also if you place EMF next to regular Ormus, it moves. It's repellent. Like basically electromagnetic frequencies, like a celi, it destroys the ormic compound in your brain. So if you're on your phone for 30 minutes and you're holding it like this, guess what? All the minerals that make you psychic, all the power-ups that you have to get your superpower back on and to be healthy are being literally pushed out of your brain. Your magnesium depletes, which is the protective layer for your nervous system, aka nervous system, and many, many things more in detail that are unhealthy. So what we're trying to do is to reintroduce Ormus back to the body as a mineral supplement that should be a universal. Not you have vitamin A, vitamin B, B12, B complex, this. You have a supermarket full of supplements. And people spend up to $5,000 for supplements. I spoke to people. Finding a supplement that would work for them. Some supplements work, but here's one thing. Well, people don't understand. No mineral ever comes alone when introduced to the body. So when you cut it out of its natural storyline, let's say I just want vitamin C here, okay? This here. And nobody gets this. So in the wintertime, you sneeze and all this stuff comes in. You begin to take ascorbic acid. Not wondering what is the natural absorption rate of your body that is already running on deficiency because it's been crippled. So your vitamin C probably out of the 100%, the stuff that you take in, between 2 and 5% make it. Does your cold or your sneezing disappear? It doesn't. I tested it for over 10 years, for everybody recommended it for it to get better. My cold didn't heal overnight, stuff didn't disappear, and I kept pumping vitamin C till I had the toots. And it's not helping. Why? Because the body can't absorb it at a rate it would be needed in order to heal you. But here's another thing, is that then I'm thinking with observation, do you think all you need is vitamin C to have a healthy immune system, or do you think there are many, many, many factors and many, many different things that you need to actually establish a healthy immune system? I think you need more than vitamin C. And all that is supplements just shows you how fragmented the consciousness is in separating everything, thinking this is what it needs. So when you introduce a mineral, and here comes the trick, which we have a way to find, that carries 99, let's say 0.5% of minerals that your body in its pure state actually needs. You need to teach your body the absorption rate again, so it can take it in. And that'll take some time. And when your body has gone past the threshold, the body can begin to repair. So, what science has also found out in Ormus, very expensive machinery is needed to even find elements in there, because sometimes you have to cook it over 1,000 degrees, and I might be very inaccurate of what the degrees are. For every element that is known to man, you have to have a certain temperature, and then you got to wait 5 to 10 minutes, and it appears and then it disappears. So that means it's there and it's not there. So they cannot really say what Ormus is. Well, if for regular observation, Ormus would be a mineral salt. Well, how is that created? You take a jar of distilled water. You take a bag of dead sea salt. You fill that into the jar. And then you get a mixture with a very high pH level as a solvent. Look at recipes, see what you find. You can use Dead Sea salt, Celtic salt, or other salts that you might like. And you put it in a jar filled with that water and let it sit overnight. And then in the morning, a third of it is white. A white milky substance. You take that out, you wash it, you clean it. That's all in the recipe. That's all on YouTube. Thousands of videos explain that. That's why I'm not explaining that. For me, it's about the efficiency and the effectiveness of the information that I'm relaying to you. So this is the Ormus. It comes in overnight. Nobody really knows how that process takes place. It's an ancient process that has just been replicated from the ancients and it's been brought back. And that you fill in your bottles, and that you take. So the message to the Ormus community is this. If Ormus is produced under natural electric light, that means the Ormus has some power and some effect, but it's not 100% because it's still being hit with EMF and bombarded with EMF. If you produce Ormus, produce it in an EMF protected environment and keep electricity away from Ormus, period. You want to go further, put it in an ENF box. Put nothing but holy symbols around it, and if you want to go even further, put it in a vacuum when you produce it. But that's not all. That's part of the technique. Then have the divine right to produce Ormus. So what we have found out through meditation, the precipitant of the Ormus production can be up to 85%. All the way up here, all filled. So that means your belief system decides how much consciousness material from the ether comes into your can. And anybody can do this at home. It's not magic, it's alchemy. Alchem from Egypt, chemet from alchem, means those who were the ancient alchemists from ancient times can bring it back. Those who were not need permission, they probably have less. So what we found out is, and you can find that in my Etsy store, we produce something that's called activator. So what we did with, you can say, Arcturian councils, Palladian, and different councils influence, or not influence, more like assistance, we have found something that if you're sensitive, you take a drop, it fires you up. It gets you in states of awareness that you couldn't fathom that you actually were capable of achieving. So the myth, and I don't think it's a myth, what they say is when you take that holy liquid, which is like liquid light, you can also put Ormus out, pour it out and let it sit, and it turns into this powdery substance. And that's your monoatomic gold. And it basically gives the body the capacity to repair anything that's needed. Not only that, Ormus is what many have not really reported. Ormus forms the minerals required by the environment. It is a conscious substance. So if you have a rhodium deficiency in the way the body stores it, then the Ormus you take will produce that. If you have an iridium state deficiency, in a monoatomic state, meaning non-metallic, like non-toxic, Ormus will respond to your consciousness. You can already talk to it also. You can hold a bottle and make a connection, and if you put your attention to your fingertip, and your fingertip tingles, that means you have a conscious connection to yourselves. Everybody can test that. You do this, it's following. You hold your hand up, and then concentrate on your thumb, your finger, and put your attention there, and feel your hand. See, I'm doing it now, I'm feeling a tingle. This is not post-hypnotic suggestion. This is your higher sense of feeling crystals, sensing ormic materials. Also, what I did is I took Ormus and put it on my head. I had a headache, so I used some magnesium and some Ormus. And it's like my head sucked it in. It's like it didn't even have any residue. So even for facial creams, which I'm also working on a certain combination for the skin, you put Ormus on your face. It can rejuvenate because you're giving it the minerals back that the nerves through stress are depleting and the brain fails to reproduce. So you want to bring the Ormus or the ormic state in your brain, you want to correct that and bring that back. So I think Ormus is beneficial. I give it 7 thumbs up, if you will. I've been taking it. My six-pack has returned without working out. And in some video, when it's appropriate, I'll show the upper torso of my body to see the effect that it has on me. And I have a body like now. I was 22, I was that fit. I have more endurance. I'm climbing rocks, I'm running hills. I'm very fit. And also I have a write-up about Ormus that I probably will post on the Arcturiancouncil.com website. I will read it into the video to give you a review of what I said and give you an idea. So Ormus is basically a monoatomic substance that you want to ingest. You want to follow the, see here there's no pro or expertise or recommendations of the do's and don'ts. Is be, when you take it, careful with the dosage because it can be a laxative if you have to detox too quick and you do an let's say tablespoons instead of teaspoons. That's too fast for your body. Yeah, your body is very happy about that, but you will be sitting in the bathroom the whole day. So what you want to do is you want to use droppers and increase the rate. So begin with 3 drops a day and see how your body responds. You will lose weight. You will lose unnecessary appetite, like things that are non-beneficial. Your body will begin to repel. Even if you're willing to go for it, your body will no longer go for it. So it's the best cure, I would say, ever. If you have addictions such as coffee or cigarettes or other things that you do not in moderation, your body will find an equilibrium. Yes, of course, there are more things and more states to do for you to get actually correct. I will do a little pay-per-view video where I'll put together a format of really, with intense care, to have the correct eating habits, how to train your brain effectively, what substance to give to your body on a universal platform that for everybody that I have suggested that to, and on their own free will, they have gotten better, they have gotten smarter, they have gotten slimmer, they have gotten more psychic, and they're more in control of their life. With little things they invest in themselves, now saving thousands of dollars wasted into supplements, chemo, and whatever they did to now get better and heal. And they're positive, they're mild-mannered, they're not vulgar, they understand, and they can share dreams with each other. They're much better in life, and I think this is the future, that we get into future tech foods. That we get in what I'm working in, specifically photonically enhanced foods, meaning the light levels on a subatomic level are being enhanced, thus also resulting in, if you do that to your car, you save fuel, plus the fuel becomes less toxic, produces less nitrogen in the output, carcinogens are being reprogrammed. You can give the body much more of a defense when a cell is lit up in an EMF environment, and many more benefits that are unknown to man because we have yet to develop machines to actually measure what's in this miraculous stuff. And like I said, investigate, Google, be online, see what's out there. If you want to ask me questions, I think there are 2 specialists that I highly recommend that talk about it. I don't know their names by heart, but I'll do my best to put that up in the description box. and I'm hoping that you have seen the resonance of what that is for you. I sell it on my Etsy store, like 8-ounce bottles. I call it Activator. That is beneficial for you. And again, like I said, with the dosage, keep it very, very low. This is very potent stuff. It is actually what you need. This is essentially all the body needs, and we should come back to that with an understanding that is so when more get better and more deliver video testimonials. So hopefully I cleared your mind into what Ormus is. There's many factors that I haven't mentioned that people have found and what it does. Animals get better. One lady showed a picture on Google, if you can find it. Her cat had a tail bitten off, and she fed the cat with Ormus, and she put the Ormus material on the tail end where the bone and the skin were showing, and put it on the tail end. And in a course of, I think, 6 to 7 months, that little kitty, the tail grew back, which where doctors would say that is impossible. I say it is possible if you give the body the information it needs in completion. It can do things that will appear to you like miracles. And when we can come back to that, we can actually have science now not define or claim they know what is. Science more being humble to listen to the alchemical process that comes from our elders, our ancestors, our tribes, the natives, the aborigines, the natives that live in Peru, that we have to sit down and listen to. How do you do it when you heal yourself? I've seen that you're healed. If they can see what's missing with us and how they can heal, and the healing modality works, we have no other choice but to listen and to look at what works. If a consciousness is rebellious or goes against what actually is healing for humanity, that shows you the part of the resisting particles in the consciousness that is not willing to accept that it's true that you can heal all ills, you can get well, you can be wealthy and live a good life and have everything that you need, not necessarily everything that you want. And hopefully this was a clear communication to you for what is. Trying my best to support that in that direction, and anything I find I put up, or any other product I find I support. And I hope you do the same. This is for you and for your healing and for you in the future. Like, I buy a supplement and spend less in the end because I have less food to buy and less different supplements that all promise things and they don't happen. Like, I want to take a supplement in my mouth and break through the layers, mind you. Some people in the beginning won't feel a thing. Maybe somebody weighs 200 pounds. It takes a moment for it to work through the layers. But everybody that has taken it, lost weight, stopped getting into milk products, stopped eating the sugar stuff. You can still drink or sip your Coke or eat a little chocolate cake. There's nothing wrong with that. But everything comes back to a moderation, away from the gluten, the starch, the canola oils, the trans fats. You will automatically realign to what is divine and in resonance to you. And when you build your psychic sense, the quicker you can come back to your avatar body, and you'll have a body that you'll actually like. And at any age that is possible. Look at me, I'm 46. Next year I'm going to be 47. When I'm 50, I'll probably still look the same. I say when I'm 70, I want to look the same and have the same muscular structure and the same wakefulness and mindfulness and intelligence to present to you that there are cases where things really work. So who listens to a fat guru with a stomach and a belly out that gives you diet tips? How much sense does that make to you when you're a conscious being? I leave that with you. This is Arcturus Ra. Thank you for joining me in this particular special video. And there's more science coming, more to be studied, and more love to be shared. And today is survival of the most shareable waves of true love that comes from your heart. Also, on a side note, study Dan Winters. He's a very complex scientific guy, but there's a lot of truth behind that. And there are products there that actually do the magic. So have an open heart, an open mind to receive your healing, and willingness to accept that you are in the middle of your own ascension process. Thank you and namaste.